All right, hi everyone. It's Beata, the Mindful Breastfeeding Mom. So today I'm super excited. We're going to be talking about baby's skin, and we're going to touch on a couple things to look out for, and then we're also going to talk about the first of 6 steps of something that you can try to see if that can help baby. So if you're not familiar, babies when they're born have all sorts of skin conditions that can show up. And we're going to, do a little deep dive into all of those. But ideally, we do want baby skin to be clear. So that is something that when things show up, it's not always a cause for like immediate concern. But there are some things that we can try to see if they can improve. And then, of course, if baby's skin persists, or if there are some serious conditions that we'll touch on today, then we want to know what we can do about it, right? So again, we'll be going in depth about baby's skin, and then I'll also touch on the first of 6 steps of something that you can try to see if that is baby's root cause, if that is the cause behind baby's skin condition. The other steps are really for clients because they do require customization and decision making, and that decision making process is what is challenging, and really some guidance and some support is needed sometimes. So that is, those further steps need a little bit more help. And, at this point, I want to show you something at least so you can get started. And this way you can feel, instantly calmer and more confident knowing what your next steps are, knowing what you have a plan of something that you can try and what to do. And then also this is evidence-based practice. And I mention that because a lot of the time people go, all right, what's the research? Research is absolutely important. However, did you know that there are 3 main pillars to evidence-based practice? All right, and so when we look at evidence-based practice, we want to look at, 1, the research, that is very important. However, we also want to look at the patient or the mom and baby in front of us because that is equally as important, their experiences. And then the third thing is the practitioner or provider that's working with you. Their either personal experiences or the experiences of other moms and babies that they have had when working with them. So we need to take all 3 of those into account whenever we make any decisions as far as care or whatnot. And so the other thing I wanted to mention is that when we are going through, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. And also, as you listen, if I want you to post and comment your biggest takeaways. So there's a couple reasons for that. The first thing is when you post your biggest takeaway, it actually helps you remember it. So whenever we write something down or type it out, it actually helps us retain that information. So it's going to help you remember it because especially with mom brain, that is a real thing and our memory isn't always so great. The next thing is, this is really a community of moms that are looking at this information. So when we share our biggest takeaways, maybe someone may have not caught that takeaway. And by leaving it in the comments, you help other moms get those takeaways and those important pieces as well. So that way you contribute to the community. And then also, if you just say hi in the comments and maybe where you're watching from or how old your baby is, that way I can send you a free training. And that way we can, again, spread some more knowledge and information. So let me see what else I wanted to just make some notes here so I don't forget anything. No, I think that's everything. So let's jump into some of these skin conditions that we want to look out for. So I want to start with one of the more emergency ones or the ones that are more concerning, and that's hives. So hives are really these swollen, red, often very itchy areas that pop up. And again, depending on how soon they pop up, and how many of them are, that may be a cause for either calling 911, going to the emergency room, making a urgent care trip, whatever you have available to you. Especially if they're widespread hives, so where they are taking up like a whole limb, multiple limbs, a torso, everywhere, that is definitely something you want to get emergent care for. So I just want to put that out there first. And again, hives, they are these red kind of raised areas. They definitely, I think they're also called like welts. So it's a raised area of skin that is red, super itchy. Another one that is common is eczema. And so eczema are these sometimes patches of skin, but they tend to be drier. Can be itchy as well. They're not as raised. and they are typically more of like a long-term thing. So they don't just pop up for a day and then go away for a day. Hives can do that, where hives come and go sometimes very rapidly. However, eczema is something that sticks around for a little while. So that's another thing to look out for. And then there's other things that are common but not necessarily in the range of normal. So things like baby acne, where there's lots of little, pimples. Sometimes there may be like yeast rashes. So where like babies, when they're really little, they can't raise their head. So that crease between the neck and the head, sometimes you can get like these really red rashes under there. Same thing under the armpits, in those little folds that they have. So again, that is a sign that, again, it's common, but not necessarily normal. There are things that we can do about that. So those are just a couple of the most common ones. And so again, the decision-making process comes in now, right? So with those red yeasty ones, let's talk about that first. That usually, yeast thrives in a warm, moist environment. So again, perfect in these little creases. So one thing that you can do is just make sure that you are keeping them dry as best as you can. There is something that predisposes them to having these yeast rashes. So that is something that we can definitely talk more about on a guidance call. So please feel free to reach out for that. I'll leave the link below after the video. And same thing for any of these things. If you'd like some more guidance, especially with the decision-making process or just interpreting what you're seeing with baby, please let me know. Drop a note in the comments or reach out for some information about a guidance call, because we can definitely talk things through. And there are lots of different factors that we need to take into account. When we look at hives, or eczema, those are usually the first place to look at. So this is the first step, is really at contact. So when we look at contact, we look at things like detergents, soaps, fragrances. And so some easy ways that you can do that, and really your first step so that you can feel confident and calm, is changing detergents. So a lot of the time, some of these detergents that are marketed for baby actually have a lot of fragrance in them, and they actually can contribute to these things that you're seeing. So, and I want to backtrack a little bit. As far as like hives, if there's hives, you definitely want to go see your pediatrician as soon as possible. All right, we want to make sure that we get that taken care of. Again, I talked about, when that would be an emergent situation. However, if they say, no, don't worry about it, it's just a hive or two, or if there's eczema, then you definitely want to look into detergent, right? So a free and clear detergent. And also, at the same time, other than detergent, we want to look at soaps. We want to look at if there's any perfumes, if there's any oils, any bath products, lotions, etc. That can be contributing to that. So that's where I want you to focus your energy on first. And one way that you can do that, especially with the little guys, so detergent, definitely getting a free and clear. But as far as like bath products and things like that, especially the little guys, you don't need to use soap on them unless they've been like rolling in mud. But when they're really little, you can just use some warm water, and that is enough for a bath. So if you do that for a few times, then you can figure out, all right, maybe it was the soap that we were using, or the body wash, or the shampoo, etc. So it's okay. There's nothing wrong with doing that for a few days and seeing if the skin improves. Now, there are more steps as far as what we can do for skin, but I want you to start there. And then, if we need to, that is where I'd like you to reach out for some more guidance and support, because really then we need to get more customized. We need to get more specific. And there's lots of different options. So I don't want you unnecessarily doing more than you need to. I hope that makes sense. So also, I'd love for your feedback if this was helpful, if this was some new information, if it gave you some ideas. Like I mentioned, I'd love for you to post your takeaways in the comments. And again, if you'd like free training, go ahead and just introduce yourself, say hi in the comments, and I'll send that to you. And so again, this video was really talking about a couple just different skin conditions that we talked about, and your first steps of what to do with those skin conditions. So I see a couple people are just popping on right now. So if you missed that, go ahead and just watch the replay. It should be up in just a few minutes. And again, feel free to reach out if you'd like more information on a guidance call. And then we can make some more customized and informed evidence-based decisions for you and your baby. So I hope this was helpful. And as always, I wish you and your baby all the best, and I will see you in the next video.